Alright guys, it's back in triceps today. I've got this set up to where I'm going to do some wide grip lat pull downs. I'm going to lean down into some transverse shrugs and then go right into a straight bar press down for my triceps. So I try to stay in one station when I'm doing this so that I can hit 3 different muscle groups all together without leaving, the same seat. I did a video similar to this last week where I was sitting on the ground or on a decline bench and doing it where I was doing reverse grips, cable pulls, so on and so forth. But I'm doing it on upper back today. So anyway, so I'm going to start with wide grip lat pulls. And I'm going to do about 10 or 12 of these. It's pretty heavy, so I don't have the ability to hold myself down with an anchor. So I just kind of put my foot up here to kind of give myself leverage so that I can go heavier. Honestly, that was probably a little too heavy, and the reason I say that is because I don't have the ability, I don't have a lat pull machine where I can anchor myself in. So whenever I go too heavy, it kind of pulls me off the seat. So it's kind of the downfall of not having like commercial equipment in here. Anyway, so I'm gonna lighten this back up and go into my transverse part of my trap. So it's pretty easy, but it's not very a common thing. I kind of made this up on my own. So what I'll do is I'll lay down like this, and I'll just use my traps, the transverse part of my traps, to pull the weight down. Obviously, this can't be too heavy, otherwise it'll pull me right out off of the bench. So, I've got like a 120 on there, which is fine, but I'm keeping this movement short and just using my traps to shrug it. It's a really good way to hit the middle part of your traps. I do traps on shoulder day as well, but I'll usually do I'll do dumbbell shrugs, or I'll do barbell shrugs where I'm just straight up and down. And the difference is here, I'm at an angle where I'm pulling in like this, so I'm hitting the middle part of my trap, not the upper. And then since I'm already here and I'm doing triceps, I'm just going to go directly into a straight bar push down. So, you've seen everybody in the world do this. That's a good way to kind of get the triceps going. I like to keep my grip. I'll show you in a second, but make sure you lock these out first of all. So get all the way up at like a 90-degree angle where your triceps are fully stretched out, and then lock out at the bottom. And what I was saying is, I don't know if you can see it from this angle, but I like to kind of grab it here at the corner of this, so your hands aren't exactly straight, and they're not like this. They're kind of at really a 15 to 20 degree angle. So you're being able to get really a good outer part of your tricep. Really getting the heads of your tricep is really about hand position. So you're always going to want to do, a supinated grip, a normal grip. Use the ropes, so you're getting this, you're getting this, you're getting this. In this case right now, I'm getting a position where I'm kind of in between. So always change your hand position on any exercise you do. But really, when it comes to biceps and triceps in particular, you can hit the different heads better. I mean, it applies to lats as well. You know, it applies to chest. It applies to any muscle group. Hand position changes the angle, which in turn changes which part of that particular muscle you're working. So I'll do this one more round. I'm kind of out of breath and rambling, so I'm going to do this one more round. I'll try and be quiet. You can kind of see what I'm doing, and we'll call it a day for the lesson today. So I'm going right back into lat pull downs. I'm going to lighten this up a little bit because that was a little too heavy on the last one. Not because I'm not strong enough to pull it up, because it's pulling me off the bench. You know, in a commercial gym situation, you're going to sit inside the lat machine, and you're going to put the anchor down, the pad down, and lock it in and lock yourself down. That way you can go heavier. I don't have that luxury here, so I can't put. You know, I weigh 220-ish, 215, 220-ish. If I put 180 on there or whatever, it's going to start to yank me off of the seat. So I'll eventually probably get a machine like that in here, but for now I don't have it. But anyway, wide grip, lat pull. And before we get too far into critiquing the length at which I'm stopping, you know, I like to get kind of a partial on that, where I'm getting the stretch out better. Kind of a lengthened partial is the word I'm looking for on that. And I'm not coming all the way down, and here's why. Because now I'm coming all the way down when I lay down. So when I'm laying down, I'm keeping my back flat on the bench, and I'm not using my traps. I'm not using my lats to let the bar pull me up. I'm letting my traps go. So I'm letting the upper part of my back go, and I'm shrugging it back. So I'm getting it wide again. I'm going to keep this same weight. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to go down about 10 pounds so I can get them correctly. Well, this is where I lay down. My back is against the pad. I let the cable pull my shoulders off the mat, and I shrug it back. Pull me off the mat, just my shoulders, shrug it back. So this movement is really slow, okay? But what I'm doing is I'm hitting the transverse part of the trap and the upper back. There's a lot of rear delts involved in this as well. You know, but that's unavoidable. You're gonna hit the rear delts when you do this, but I'm really trying to squeeze the middle part of my back. And I've just come to really like this exercise to give the upper back definition, to give it that roundness, to give it that swollen look. And then again, I'm already here. I go a little bit heavier. And sometimes, I won't do it today, but usually probably half the time I just rotate my hands. So I just showed you that I did them like this. Sometimes I'll flip them every other set. So say I'll do 6 sets here. I'll do 3 sets like this and 3 sets like this. Today, I'm not working on that head as much. So I'm gonna stay with the normal press down. And again, let the cable pull you to 90 degrees where your tricep is completely stretched out, and then lock it out at the bottom. These aren't my favorite tricep exercise. The ropes, overhead ropes are, and I've mentioned that before on a previous video, but this is almost as effective. Anyway, that's the tutorial for today. Read the description down below. Like and subscribe. God bless.